Okay, today we're going to be roasting some green beans from Guatemala. It's called Guatemala Chicken. I got this 1 pound bag from Bodie Leaf. I did a roasting class there. They do some roasting classes. Pretty nice, teach you how to roast. So yeah, Guatemala Chicken. We're going to do 6 ounces. So let's first start off by just weighing them out. Use the scale. And as I'm pouring these in there, I'm going to be looking for some of the beans that are irregularly shaped, like this one. It's just a poor bean. It's real, maybe I'll show it to you later. It's not shaped very well. Some that are like too small. They'll roast differently. So you want to, as you pour, just kind of, look at the beans, and any of them that are obviously like deformed or too small, just pull out and set aside. So that's a little too much. There we go, 6 ounces. But most of them look like they're pretty good, about all the same shape, size. And this is a washed process. Pour them into the drum. And what I'll do is with the drums, I'll shake it, and I don't know if you can see the dust falling out, some dust, dirt, whatever. You want to get all that out before you're roasting. Get that. While I'm doing this, I'll get the Behmor turned on. I'll put it at the 1/4 pound setting for now. We're just going to warm it up, and I'll hit start. We want to preheat it. Also, I'm using a computer with Artisan software. I get my probe in here. I actually have a nice probe that gets into the bean mass, so that way I know when to get my beans inside. Okay, there we go. And let's see, is it synced? Yeah, it synced. The computer's reading it. So in a little bit, you can start seeing the temperature rising. Start seeing a line coming through here. Alright, these are pretty well. All the dust, dirt out of here. So here we go, temperature reading. Got this Tech on Amazon, 50 bucks. It's not too bad, actually a really good deal. I was thinking about buying another one. And it's working pretty well with the PC. I wish it worked for a Mac, but unfortunately not. So here we go, we're at 108, going up. So when it gets to about 200, I'll go ahead and put the beans in and get to roasting. And this roast that I'm going to do, we're going to do a pound setting and do a P5 roast until about 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, and then change it to a P4, maybe around the dry end. I'll probably do a little bit before. And with the Behmor, around on a 1 pound setting, around 7:20, 7:30, something like that minutes into it. Internal fan comes on, so I'll go back to a P5 setting. Try to offset the cool down a little bit. Right around 7:10 to about 7:40, do P5, and then back to P4. And then right around first crack, about a minute into first crack, I'll probably hit P3, let it coast to the end, aim for somewhere 20 to 25% RTD, and be done. Alright, here we go. Turn it off, get the beans in here. It's a little bit hard to get it hooked in there, especially I got the probe going, so that interferes a little bit. And I do not use the chaff catcher, so here we go. We do we go 1 pound setting, and I'll increase it to the max amount of time. Don't want it to shut down on the auto mode of cool. I'll go ahead and hit start. I'll hit start on my timer, and P5 manual setting, and I'll hit the charge button on the Artisan software. Those of you that aren't using Artisan software, it's very nice. It's a big help. It's all designed very nicely, where you can even see the color bars. Helps you. For first crack, there's a line right there, right around 390 degrees. Generally, first crack is as soon as you hit about 390, you start watching for it. So it's really nice. It's all set up really well. We'll get the light going on the Behmor, and make sure P5 is flashing. I've done this before. I didn't roast for a couple months and I went back to try it and I couldn't figure out why my beans were taking so long to roast. Is because I hit P5 too early and it was telling the Behmor that I wanted a P5 setting instead of the manual P5. So I was not roasting them at 100%. I think it was for a nat P5 on the Behmor. I believe it is for a natural. So it's a slower process. It's built into the Behmor. So I like the manual mode, so that way I can control it. So it's flashing, P5 is flashing. I got my backup timer, just in case something, visual to go off of. And I have the Artisan. It's pretty well, it's a little off, about 8 seconds off. Okay, so for now, my turning point is at 42 seconds and 164 degrees Fahrenheit is my turning point. So now temperature's going up, and you can see. And at 6 ounces is about as low as you can go for my probe, the way it hits the bean in the bean mass. And the Behmor just doesn't seem to do well with much more than 6 ounces. Yeah, you can do 7, it's fine. 8's even fine. I know some people do a pound, but you really have no control. It just takes too long. You're gonna have baked beans, but still pretty tasty, pretty delicious. But with 6 ounces, you can get away with it. Where I have a pretty accurate reading from the probe inside the bean mass, and I can control the temp a little bit better. 4 ounces is still pretty nice. If you do 4 ounces of Behmor, you can really control what the beans are doing. But my probe doesn't really get in the bean mass, so it's not quite as accurate. Okay, we're at 4 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and do P4 manual mode on the Behmor right here. P4. So it's dropping down to 80% of heat for the roast. And we'll wait for the dry end. And okay, we're at 5 minutes now. Dry end should be coming pretty soon. You can see steam sometime coming out. You can really start smelling the roast, kind of like a grass smell. Starting to smell it. You can also see, I don't know if you see on the computer screen right here, the roar and the bean temp are starting to get pretty close, start to cross. It's about what time the dry end hits. Yeah, it's probably about right now. I can really definitely smell it. We'll hit dry end. It's a little bit hard to tell the dry end on the Behmor, at least for me. For me, it seems that the easiest way is by smell. I seem to be able to smell it when it happens, when the steam, the moisture is starting to be released from the beans. And see, those of you that have Behmor, I'll check the internal chamber temp and compare it to what my probe is telling me. The Behmor says 275 degrees, and my probe is telling me the beans are at 314 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, 7 minutes, so pretty soon I'm going to hit P5 to get it back up to 100%. And right about now, 7:10, P5. Those of you that have a Behmor, that internal fan on this side will kick on and it'll drop the temperature a little bit. It doesn't really show too much on the actual probe of the beans, just a tiny bit of a drop, but on the roar you can definitely tell that line definitely dips down. And about 5, we'll give it another couple seconds. We're at 740. I don't want to heat it too much. About 750, I'll drop it back down to P4. And I'm just trying to keep that line, my curve, for my bean temp constant. I don't want it to dip down. So I'm hoping that my first crack will come, my dry end, 5:32, so around 11 minutes. But you can definitely see the drop and the roar, the temp right there, the rate of rise. So I wanted to try and prevent that from happening by going to P5, but it didn't look like it worked. But it looks like projected temperature should hit first crack right around 11 minutes. Okay, we're at almost 11 minutes. Beans are at 381 degrees. Still at P4, 80%. We're waiting for that first couple pops of the first crack. Oh, just heard it starting. First couple pops. My first crack. Not yet. You want to wait till you start getting kind of like a regular popping sound. Those might have been smaller beans, roasted a little sooner. There we go. Some more pops. Okay, it's starting now. Some pops regularly, hopefully. Where are you? There we go. So right around 12, so about 13 minutes, I'll probably drop it down to P3 and then just let it coast. But temp's still going up. We're almost at 400 now. Beans aren't popping very well. And this is the first time roasting this bean, so maybe the first crack of the crack just doesn't pop as much as some of the other ones. It's at 13 minutes. So I'm going to drop it down. Beans at 408, the temperature. Oh, there's this flashing. That's what I was talking about. If you don't hit start on the Behmor, then you're going to lose your roast. It'll just go to cool automatically. So I'll hit start, save the roast. I'll hit P3, drop it down. First crack definitely not popping real well. Hard to hear it. It didn't start going off. Temperature's at 414 right now. I'm guessing first crack is done. That was hard to tell. Start getting ready for cooling cycle. Give it another about 30 more seconds. First crack, about 2 minutes. How long? Looking at the beans, they look good. This is supposed to be a City Plus to FC roast. And let's hit cool. I'll turn on my shop vac. There we go. The beans are now cooled down, so we'll go ahead and take them out, take a look at them. And again, shake them, kind of a mess. This one doesn't seem too much chaff on it. Should be able to see some of these things coming out. Usually I walk outside and go through the garden with my plants and shake it over them. Probably pretty good. And let's weigh them and get my percent weight loss. You need definitely something where you have a one-way valve for the CO2. You gotta let your beans rest for 2 to 3 days usually, around there. And let's zero this again. So we start off with 6 ounces. Should get around 5 ounces, usually right around a 1 ounce loss. 5 right on the money. We got 22% RTD. Oh, 39 and 39. Dang, that's pretty good. But yeah, for a 6 ounce roast, that's pretty decent. I mean, getting 39%, 39%, and then 22% RTD. Pretty happy with that. And I think, it should taste pretty good. Alright, to calculate the weight loss, start off with 6 ounces. And ended up with 5. So 6 minus 5 equals 1. Divided by 6 equals, we got a 16.6% weight loss. Okay, what's this thing? For my cooling process, a buddy of mine, Randy Sheets, he developed this, showed me. Basically just make a whole piece of cardboard. His was more fancier. I just use a piece of cardboard, so just cardboard. And shot back right in here, place it into the mouth right here, and you're cooling your beans down pretty fast. Main reason why I do it this way is because I have the probe and it's hard for me to get the drum out with the probe and everything, wearing gloves, and it's just not as consistent. I used to do it this way, where you put the right here, drum inside here, and shot back right here. Okay, this is really fast. It cools it down even faster than doing it like this. But like I said, it's just not as consistent. I have to get this drum out with gloves from the probe, and sometimes I'm pretty quick at it, other times I'm not. So there's just, it's hard to be as consistent. This way still does it pretty fast, about 3.5 minutes, maybe 4. You know, to where you could touch it, maybe even 3 minutes. This is even faster, maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and it's completely cool. It's really fast using this box. Cut a hole, put this on top, shot back, turn it on. It goes really fast, gets those beans cool really quick. But for me, this way it's just more consistent, it's easy. It's this picture of the beans and I ground some so you can see what it looks like. It's pretty accurate. It is a little bit darker in the picture, and the real life, the beans and the grounds are a little bit lighter. So it does look a little bit darker in this picture. Okay, so here's a cup of coffee. I used an AeroPress. I just did half cup just to taste it, see how it tastes. So this is what it looks like. So let's give it a taste. I've been dying to try it. It says that it's supposed to have milk chocolate, lavender, and some brown sugar or sugar. So let's give it a taste. For sure the milk chocolate. Yeah, a little bit of sweet taste to it. It's clean. Maybe a little bit earthy. Yeah, milk chocolate for sure. That's the number one thing. Probably then the brown sugar. I don't know about lavender. I'm not sure my palate is sophisticated enough to pick up the lavender. Maybe. But maybe just because I know it's supposed to have lavender. Once again, thank you to Bodhi Leaf for the green coffee. I've been getting their beans now for 2 years, something like that. They got roasting classes, they got cupping classes. It's nice, I don't have to pay for shipping and handling, just drive right in, go pick it up from the warehouse. So if you haven't been to Bodhi Leaf, you guys should definitely go check it out. And if you need some beans that are green to roast, then Bodhi Leaf's your place.